Hey guys, welcome back to Nigel's Modelling Bench. You really are suckers for punishment, aren't you? You keep coming back to hear me waffling on about all this plastic and stuff. I don't know, you must be mad. Still, as long as you keep watching, I'll keep putting it together. And my subscriber count is rising day by day and I'm loving it. So thank you very much guys, thanks for your support. And as I say all the time, if you'd like to subscribe, please do, and if you want to dislike, press that dislike button twice. But I'd love a thumbs up if you like what you see in here. As you know, I'm on this Dora railway gun thing at the moment with the 3 kits and the reviews and all that. So what I said I'd do was do a review of each kit. I'll do a corrections video for each kit, and I'll do a summary at the end of each corrections video. So today is Sunday, December the 2nd, and I'm going to look at this one here today. This is the Hobby Boss 1/72 scale German 80 centimeter K railway gun Dora. This one, as I say, is 72nd scale, so it's going to be around about a metre long, depending what you do with the barrel. And as you can see, it comes with enough track here to, obviously someone's outside, it comes with enough track to put it on your shelf and then not get the barrel knocked off. You can shorten this by lifting the barrel up, and obviously then you could shorten this piece of track. But also in my corrections video you'll see that I'm probably going to shorten the barrel anyway. So what does this kit consist of? It comes in a lovely big box. It is beautifully packaged. When I get to the box I'll show you the packaging. You may have already seen it on my what was it called, the Friday thing. What's it called? Black Friday, that's the one. My Black Friday purchase for me models, I got this with 10% off, and they already have 10% off, so that was 19% off, and yeah, better price than anywhere else I found it. And it's actually emails with a very good price on this, even without Black Friday. I think it's £125. It's 132 on Amazon. So, you know, and there's some on eBay for over 200 quid. Yeah. So anyway, the kit consists of 32 sprues of tan-coloured plastic containing 1,607 parts. There are 19 parts which are not on sprues, so they're independently moulded. You've got 60 PE parts. You've got 12 weights for the ballast for the gun barrel. They go in the breech. A length of rope, and then that's just for the gun itself. And then for the bed, you've got another 85 parts just for the bed for the railway. So yeah, it's quite a high sprue count. All the moulding is beautiful, crisp and sharp, and you'll see what I'm doing. Rather than do a full sprue review on this kit, I'm going to show you a few of the sprues and just to give you an idea of the moulding and the size and how it goes together and stuff. And then you'll see more of it when I do the corrections video. So no further ado, I'm going to get over to the bench now and we'll have a look at the instructions first and go from there. Right then, so here's the instruction book. As you can see, it's the normal trumpeter Hobby Boss type of book, all printed in black and white and no glossy paper, which is great for the reviewer. So let's have a look inside here. Let's get this across so you can see the whole thing. Here we go. So this is our sprue map. Basically we've got all the coloured, all the call outs, and everything's numbered. You can see there's a lot of multiple sprues, 8 of those, 4 of those, 4 of those, 2 of those, 4 of these. You know, there's 388 parts there in Sprue E alone. So 672 in Sprue A. So yeah, lots and lots of bits, lots of photo etching. Here's the rail bed parts here. And you can see we've got some individually moulded items which will go to make up the gun. And I think I said already, this ends up around about a metre long. So about 3.5. I think the 35th scale is 7 foot long, so this is going to be about 3.5. So first things first, you're making up the rail bed. There's a few videos around, and I'll show you when you come to make this bed. It needs some help. It's a bit too floppy on its own. It needs some stiffeners inside it and some help. The track lengths, I'm not so sure if they're correct or not, but we'll look at that in my corrections video. Then we're on with the bogies here, and we're going to make 4 of these. So that's the 4 rear bogies, because it's got the it's the inner bogies because you've got the slanted ends on them. And then we're going to make these here, which have the wood planking on them. So these are the outermost 4 bogies, and they've also got the buffers and things on them. Adding the toolboxes, and then we're going to come along and add our photo etch onto our subcarrier, and then add that bracket, the actual floor of the subcarrier onto the subcarrier itself. Adding these 2 little uprights here, which are missing in the 144th scale kit. And then we're going to do the outermost ones. Again, they've got these brackets on and the steps. So yeah, and then we've got all the decal placements that go on the side of the subcarriers. These are known as bogies. These are known as subcarriers, and then the bits that go on here are known as subordinates. And I got that from my German book, so no one's going to argue with that, are they? And these are the subordinates. Adding the hydraulic jacks onto the side, and it's saying both sides, you've got the inner and the outer. You can see here the it going on much. If you've seen the review of the 144th kit and my corrections video, then you'll see generally the assembly is pretty much the same. And then we've got all these hand wheels going on. Now there's 75 on the outside, and then there's 35 on the inside. So yeah, they're going to be fun, taking those off the sprue and cleaning them up. I wonder how many sprue connection points there are on them. There's 1, so that's good. So get them off the sprue, get them all in a bowl or something, sit yourself down in front of a good film, and off you go. Fill your boots. One of those nice floory, one of these soft blue sanding sticks, that'll be good for doing them. So yeah, I should imagine your fingers will be pretty sore afterwards. And yeah, you're absolutely piled on hundreds of these little tiny wheels. And don't forget, you've got 2 of these to do. So there's 75 there, 35 there, so that's 110. So there's 220 of those going on. And then there's obviously going to be some more going up here by the look of it. Then we're adding our catwalks and railings to there. On this model, we've got photo etch for the catwalks, which is nice because they are actually see-through. And having them see-through will really add to that scale effect. And then we've got supports here for more catwalks by the look of it. And then doing the same again now on the other side with the hydraulic jacks and everything. And then we've got these blocks going on which represent parts of the actual ramps. And you see you've got the holes in the bottom there which are missing in the 44th scale kit, or 144th should I say. And then we've got these rods going on here. More catwalks, more railings. Then we've got this bracket assembly. These 2 brackets, they actually go into the I can show you, I've got the book here. They go in between, they're here. If you can imagine, these are the 2 sides, and you've got the 2 railway tracks under there, and you've got this here. They fold out and then bolt the units together. So when they're actually moved on the railway to bring them into the to the firing range, or the place they're going to be assembled for firing, they go as a single rail car like this on a single track. And then you can see this is the detail here, and you can see this here and this here. This is what you're looking at. Those 2 bits there is those there. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. Those 2 bits there are going into the actual it's this here you're looking at. That is that hole there, and then the other one would be a mail that goes into it. Yeah, these bits here are actually what goes into the side of the kit. So there's a bit of information for you. Have I missed a page? Yes, I have. And then we're going to add these parts in. You can see we've got the left and right. Yeah, so they've got on here, they've got the male and the female, and then the female and the male. I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be all female on one side, all male on the other. I don't know. I'll have to suss that one out for you and look in the corrections video. So watch out for that one coming up. And we've got our boxes here, assembling it together. Eye bolts, which they used for lifting them in and out. All of this stuff came. You had, this was one half, so you had 4 bogies, 2 subcarriers, 1 subordinate, down 1 track with a train pulling it. That was one part of the train. Then you had many rail cars after that with all the bits and pieces they needed to bolt it all together. We're putting on our winches here, toolboxes and everything by the look of it. Yep. Then we're building up some ladders, which are going to be fun. Probably have to make up a little jig for those, I think. Then we've got the recoil mechanism here, starting on by the look of it. We're adding some railings up here, more of the recoil mechanism. Then we're on to the breech, and we've got our, they're calling them small level fittings. They're your steel ballast weights, so they actually balance the barrel, save it falling under its own weight, which is quite thoughtful of them, rather than using like a plastic ratchet mechanism that would wear out. Then we're on to the barrel. Please tell me, guys, is this still part of the breech? I mentioned it in my 144th scale one. Maybe somebody else would have commented by now, but yeah, you've got this part here that the barrel goes into. I call this the breech. I'm not sure if I'm correct in doing that. And we've got the actual gun mount here with all the bits and pieces of detail that go on the outside, and you've got the pieces here that make them into I-beams. And we've got some pipe work going on, more pipe work. It's just never ending. More photo etch. And then we're adding the barrel, and then it's showing you here that the gun can go from 0 to 58 degrees, which is good. Adding some parts in here. It looks like that's steps or something. Not too sure. Some leather platform here, or is that a tube? That's a platform by the look of it. And then when you think it's all over, here we go. We start again. This is the engine room now, and we've got the exhaust system hanging off the bottom. Got some ladders here with their supports, which are, looks like they're beautifully made. Again, beautiful. We got photo etch for the catwalks rather than the solid plastic, which is really nice. Little bits and pieces here going on the main rear supports for the loaders. Then we're going to put these loaders together, so we've got this huge frame. Then the engine is actually slung off the, well, the engine room is slung off the bottom of there. You see that hanging down. Then we're going to fit that onto the back of the gun, and then we're going to start on the actual loaders themselves. This kit is never ending. It's a real big project, a real long-term project with other projects going on in the meantime. Because I think if you just concentrated on this, I think it would be a bit of a mojo breaker. But saying that, Gary Binker is on YouTube. He's built it. I think it's a 22-part video. I've actually put up a playlist of it on my channel. So have a look at that. He just goes on and on and on and on and on with this kit, and doesn't weigh off at all. I can't believe it. Then this is the two rear uprights with the steps going on. Then we've got the frames here for the winch mechanism. Here's the winch mechanism. Again, this is simplified. There should be more ropes than that. Then we've got the loader, we've got the charge here, and then there's the actual shell. And then there's this unit here, I believe. This is what actually pushes everything in, I believe. When we get to that, I'll check that out in more detail. And then we're adding these vertical lifts that that take the charges up. Basically what they had was a railway carriage behind the gun, and the shells on the charges were kept inside the railway carriage, and they fed them in, and then they lifted them up on a lift, and then they slid them in and put them into the back of the gun. Adding more of the more railings and everything going on there, more railings in here, and then we're adding some more railings all around the top. Some ladders, more railings, some divots sticking out for something or other. What's going to go on there, I wonder? Oh, I see, there's more catwalk, and there's actually a plastic catwalk on there rather than a mesh one, than a PE one. Not sure if that was solid in real life or if it was PE in a mesh. Look at the way Hobby Boss have done all this with all the mesh everywhere. I would imagine if that had been mesh, they would have done that with mesh. So we'll have a look in the corrections video at that. And there we go, at last, our finished model on the stand. And what an impressive piece of plastic this is. Very, very nice kit. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that quick look through the instructions. Now let's have a look at some plastic. Right, so let's start from the bottom up. The rail track sections come in their own little rigid box, which would be handy for putting a kit in and sending off, and I've sold it on eBay. Yeah, quite a good little rigid box that. And you basically get 7 of these, 2 of these and 2 of these. So let's have a look at these sprues. Here's the, let's get this light a bit better. Right, this is the, these are the rail joiners for the rails. These are the rails themselves. It's a bit of a shame what they've done here. They've put sprue connection points on both sides, and it's a shame they didn't just, because you've got the top and the bottom, it's a shame they didn't just put the sprue connectors on the bottom, because that means now you've got not only a mould seam, but you've got to get rid of these sprue nibs on the top as well. So, you know, I think that's something they could have done better. I've taken 2 off here because I've fitted them in the tracks to show you, in the bed to show you. So this is the bed. You get 2 of these ends, 1 for each end, and you get 7 of these. I've measured the track between, and it comes out at like 20.2 millimeters, which is 1,435, which I think is spot on, correct to scale. So well done, Hobby Boss. This is the only kit that's right in that respect. But you can see here you've got 2 sprue connection points on this one, and 3 on this one you've got to get rid of. So yeah, I wish they hadn't done that. And but they've got the holes and everything in them for the connectors, you can see there. So yeah, all in all, it's quite nice. I mean, everybody uses this, but it does need a bit of work. So right, let's move on to the next lot of sprues then. Alright, so on with some of the sprues. I just want to start by showing you this. These are C and E, I think, these sprues in here. Look at the packaging. They've put them in there, and each sprue is wrapped in foam to keep them separate, and also separate from the outside world, so they don't get damaged. You know, we've still got people these days chucking all the sprues in one bag and then chucking it in a box which is too big and it all floats around. And yet Hobby Boss take this kind of care. You know, and if you look back at my Black Friday one, you'll see the general packaging of the whole box. It's just astounding. So yeah, thanks for that, Hobby Boss. It's worth it. It's worth it knowing you're not going to get too much damage. So let's start looking at these sprues then. This is sprue A, and we get 8 of these. And this, as you can see, includes the main track wheels, all the handles going across there. It looks like these are the axles, leaf springs. These are those hydraulic jack support areas, which are really nice because they give the detail of the actual I-beam section. Suspension, well, wheel bearing units there, and yeah, all very nicely detailed. As you can see, it is very nice, very crisp, very clean. These little handles here, look, everything is beautifully moulded, typical Hobby Boss style. There is one issue I've noticed: the wheels. They've got a rather thick flange on the back, so they could do with setting up in a lathe and machine in a way, or at least the end ones that can be seen. Because yeah, they're a bit sort of clumsy, those. So yeah, lovely. Again, these are all wrapped in foam, and you can see the, you know, the protection you get, and nothing gets broken. So thanks, Hobby Boss, for that. As I say, there's 8 of those. This is sprue B. You get 4 of these, and this is the bogey. So you've got these are the outer bogies. Outer, when I say outer, I mean front and rearmost, and then these 2 will be for the innermost bogies, because there's the ramp here. Planking on the top surface with some lovely wood grain effect. I don't know if you can see that. You know how much I love my wood. So that's really nice. And then we've got some shells here. So we're getting 4 of these sprues, so we're getting at least 4 shells, which is a good thing. The air brake mechanism, or the spring mechanism on there, is very nice. And then we've got the little linkage part that goes on the end plate there, which is, yeah, lovely. The steps. These are the steps that go on the ends of the sub carriers. So these just sit just above. Very nice. Very nicely moulded, very clean, very well presented. Slightly oily, I guess I'll give it a wash, but maybe not. And then we've got, this is sprue C, which is beautifully moulded. Got some railings here, some more steps. These are the side ladders. This form, the rungs go in between. There should be some holes in them. Yep, there's holes in the back there for putting the rungs in, and then you'll make those up and they become the ladders that go up the side. Some boxes here. Not sure these are the end plates where the buffers go. Looks like that's the buffers themselves. One rounded, one flat, so that's correct, I think. And yeah, very nice. These look like the mounting brackets for the claws on the side I showed you earlier that actually hold the two main subordinates together. Yeah, so toolbox here, very nice. And now we're moving on to sprue D, and I think we get two of these. You get two of these. So these are the actual frames for the subcarriers. Here's part of the loading mechanism. The parts are sort of jumbled around, so you're going to probably end up towards the end of the kit with like half the sprues still remaining with one or two parts on each. Lovely winches there, some nice detail on them by the look of it. Not exactly sure what that is, but it looks like part of the recoil mechanism perhaps. But yeah, those winches look very nice. They're split in half. Well, no, they're not winches, are they? They're the block from the block and tackle. Some nice detail on the end of that there. It's probably part of the recoil mechanism, I'm guessing, with the bolt heads and everything. A lot of the bolt heads on this also had the cross in the middle, like a screw almost. This one's sprue E. It's 4 of these. As you can see, this is just a multitude of tiny parts, and pulleys here, eye bolts. They look very nice. If I may just give you a general look around the sprue, really, it's just brackets and nuts and bolts and wheels and bits and pieces. Boxes there. Looks like these are the rungs for the ladders. You might want to replace those with some brass rod or plastic rod, see if you clean up the seams on them. Another toolbox by the look of it. Yeah, very nice. I'm not going to do all the sprues because it'll take forever, so just want to do the ones that sort of the most pertinent ones. This is the barrel. So you've got 2, 4, 6 pieces, and then you've got the breech, and then there's also the other part that I call the breech here, which is in 2 halves. So you've got that going on to there, and then that going on the back of there, and then this will, well, that will go into there, and then that will go into there. So yeah, it's going to be pretty big. Let's have a look actually how big it's going to be. So if I go from there to there, and then there to there, and then there to there, and then there to there. So it's basically going to be the same length as my cutting mat, if not slightly longer. So it's going to be about, I don't know, about 600 mil, I guess. So about 550, 600 mil. So quite big. Yeah. And there we go. And you can see the breech there. You can see the size of it. I've got here somewhere. Here we go. Here's a 72nd scale Star Wars man. You can see him there, stood in front of that breech, so you can see how big it is. It's quite large. You can also see, you know, the barrel is massive. So this wasn't a toy, that's for sure. So that's the main sprues gone through. I thought I'd show you this because it's lovely. This is the deck that goes on the back where the loading is carried out, and it's got some injection points there, which is a bit of a shame because they'll be a complete and utter nightmare to clean up. It's a shame they didn't put them like on flat surfaces that don't have the detail, but you can see on there you've got the mesh detail molded in. Now I'm not sure if this is solid steel plate or plated underneath mesh or what, but whatever, the detail is very nice. It'd be a shame if it is supposed to be see-through mesh, because Hobby Boss have gone to the trouble of giving you most of the walkways in mesh, which is something the other manufacturers don't do. Let's just have a quick look through here. We've got these are our cars here. These are the subcarriers, all bagged up, separate parts. This is one of the blocks that go between. They go in between the main part of the subordinate. Bag of metal weights. These are our metal weights for balancing the gun, and the ballast for the back go in the breech. This is the engine room. So you haven't got an engine to go in there, but you've got all the doors opening, so you could actually make something up to put an engine in there. And we've got the rear framework for the rear loading bay, So that would basically sit on the back up here, like that. And yeah, there you have it. All very, very nice. And this is the main subordinate. As you can see, you've got the positions here all the way along for all those hand wheels to go on, which will drive you absolutely crazy. Got the framework carrying on from out of the main section into the ends, and all the pipework and that moulded on. Same on this side. And then you've got jack positions here. We've got the correct cutout triangular holes there. We've got the jacks, the actual hydraulic rams here. Now these will be done in pairs, so there would be a join. These would be 3 separate jacks, so I imagine there would be a join here and here. So yeah, I'll have to see when we get it put together for that one. And then you've also got the inner part, which is detailed the same, but again on this one the handles are missing on the inside, or the wheels should I say. So yeah, it's all very, very nice. Very, very rigid, very strong, quite thick plastic. Again, they've mixed out the hatch detail on the top, unless there's separate hatches to go in there, and then I'll stand corrected. But if there isn't, they've missed that out. And you've got this lovely walkway texture on there as well. Very nice. Photo etch, I'm not going to get these out of the bag, but basically you've got 3 sheets here, which are all mesh walkways, and there's a couple of not checker plate, diamond plate parts there for the, and there actually there's 2 each of those, you can see. So yeah, very, very nice. When that goes over the frame on the subcarrier, you'll be able to see through down to the bogie underneath, so that'll be really, really nice. That's going to look lovely when it's done. Decal sheet I've got out of the bag for you. This is the only kit of the 3 that actually comes with any decals. It's going to be hard to show you much, but there they are. And I do know for a fact, the spitting on it there, that's not good, is it? I do know for a fact there are some issues with these decals. And I'll tell you now, I should really save it for the corrections video, but here we go. Number 2 is for the side of the subcarrier for these. And it should have Vaughan on the front 2 and Hinton on the rear 2, because Vaughan is front, Hinton is rear, or Hinton. But they've put Vaughan on all of them, so all 4 of them say front. So I don't know if you can get a correction just for that. There is a complete decal set, decal set you can get. It's £20 on eBay at the moment. So I'm not sure what else is wrong. We'll have to look into it. If there's anything else wrong, I guess it's worth it, but I don't think it's worth £20 just to correct them when you could put some dirt over it or something. So there we go. That's basically that. There is a lot more in the kit, but I'm not going to get it all out because it's just, you know, there's so many reviews of this kit online, and you're going to see my corrections video as well if you're interested in this model. So anyway, that's that. Thanks for looking. So there you go, guys. That's the quick review of the 1/72 scale Hobby Boss Dora railway gun. I will say now that of the 3, I think it's probably the nicest one, nicest kit. I think it'll be the most enjoyable to make out of the 3, and it is certainly, when you look at some of the detail on there, like this here, you know, it's extremely crisp and clean, and I think it's probably the most correct. There are errors, of course there's errors, but you know, overall I think it's probably the best one. So if you're out to build a model of a Dora railway gun and you don't have any issue with size, then get this one. It's £125 from eModels, as I said earlier, which is a really, really good price. I think it's about £130 everywhere else. So hope you liked it, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down twice. And if you do like it, please subscribe. Next up, you're going to see a video on correcting this kit and the errors that I found in it and what needs to be done. There aren't many, but I'm still going to do a video for it. So I'll see you later, guys. Bye bye.